Track cars can be expensive, hard to find, and difficult to maintain. So for enthusiasts who just want to have fun on the race circuits without wasting a huge portion of their budget or their time on the build, what solutions are out there? Well, one unique option is currently being offered by a Dutch supercar brand known as Saker Sportscars. Saker believes amateur drivers should be able to have the good times and the lap times they want without the hassle normally associated with small racing teams. And their lineup of unique, track-tested machines is well appointed to back them up. With a company history spanning several decades and a product line consisting of 4 fast, fresh, and affordable models, could Saker Sportscars be the ultimate answer to your racetrack dreams? In today's video, we'll be covering all the details of this exceptional marque based out of the Netherlands to help you decide if their offerings are better than similar brands like Ultima or Superlite. The Saker company was founded in late 1980s New Zealand by a man named Bruce Turnbull. The first model Bruce introduced was known as the SV1, a car legal to use, surprisingly enough, on both the track and the street. It was sold in a select few European and Asian countries with moderate success. It could fit almost any V8 engine from that era and was often paired up with a Renault transmission for lightning fast shift speeds. After many years of SV1 sales, Saker moved their headquarters to the Netherlands, where it resides today alongside other niche supercar brands such as Spyker and Vencer. After roughly a decade of successful sales, right at the turn of the century after Saker had moved to the Netherlands, production of the SV1 finally gave way to the more modern Saker GT and Sprint models. These Saker siblings are still in production today, almost 20 years later, and both use identical turbocharged Subaru Boxer engines to put out roughly 275 horsepower. Since 275 isn't an entirely impressive number by today's sky-high supercar standards, the GT and Sprint are kept ultra light, weighing in at a low 785 kilograms, which converts to about 1,730 pounds. This improves the power-to-weight ratio a lot and is achieved by using a lightweight fiberglass body installed on top of a rigid steel space frame. The suspension is entirely adjustable and comprised of a double wishbone setup with 6-pot brake calipers, 15-inch wheels, and a roughly 5-centimeter ride height, or about 2 inches, although, as mentioned before, that is adjustable. With such an impressive chassis to perform on, the GT and Sprint models are estimated to accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 3.5 seconds. Plus, they can reach up to 2 lateral Gs on the track. But most surprising of all is the starting price. The cheaper of the two models, the Sprint, begins at just 53,900 euros, or a little over 60,000 US dollars. Although Saker primarily operates over in the European car markets, a few GT and Sprint models did make their way here to the States. Although it's incredibly rare to see one, you can sometimes pick them up on the used market for just an incredible performance bargain. In October of 2010, Saker launched their latest cutting-edge race weapons. Following a similar format to the GT and Sprint models, 2 near-identical cars were unveiled, the RapX and its open-air sister, the Sniper. Now, on paper, the RapX and the Sniper look very similar to the predecessors, the GT and the Sprint, which in fact are still being produced today alongside those models, completing that 4-product lineup. However, if you look into it, there are actually a lot of differences between these 4 models. Even if you look on their official website and see the same weight listed, the same components listed, the same performance figures listed, there is a sufficient amount of differences to separate these. As with the GT and Sprint models, the latest offerings from Saker come with a Subaru 2-liter turbocharged Boxer 4-cylinder engine, tuned to produce roughly 275 brake horsepower and given an optional Capristo exhaust. In an interview with one of the sales managers of Saker Sportscars, it was mentioned that the brand likes to stick with these Subaru Boxer engines because of their reliability. Tuning them to 275 horsepower is incredibly conservative, meaning that the maintenance intervals for these race cars is far longer than a traditional track weapon. In fact, these cars can often run at the top of their performance for around 100 hours before needing to come in for any additional maintenance. which makes these Saker sports cars not only cheaper, but also far more practical than many other options out there. In addition to that Subaru Boxer engine, the transmission can also be upgraded to an available sequentially paddle-shifted gearbox from Sadev for an extra cost. But now that we've covered all the things that Saker likes to stick with, that transmission and the engine from Subaru, now let's talk about some of the differences that really separate the RapX and the Sniper from the older GT and Sprint models. And clearly the one area where they are most different from the older models is on the exterior. While the fiberglass body is clearly functional and inspired by efficiency above all else, it still has a certain unique beauty to it. Departing from the blocky 2000s era styling of the GT, the RapX comes with sharp triangulated headlights, LED-style race taillights, a massive roof-mounted snorkel intake, and those stylish vertical doors. The downforce and drag of the model have been carefully calculated and dialed in to perfection with hours of on-track testing, while the low-mounted Boxer engine in back allows for a fantastically low center of gravity and weight distribution. Sadly, the RapX and Sniper are intended for track use only and are not street legal in, well, just about any countries. However, most likely the customers won't even want to use it outside the race circuit, given the hardcore performance-oriented interior, which lacks many of the comforts featured in most road-going models. Once again, Saker primarily offers these cars to the European markets, and only a small few have been stateside to compete in tournaments. But for enthusiasts on the other side of the pond, the RapX is an awesome performance bargain, with its starting price at a conservative 60,800 euros, or a little bit over $70,000. The Saker sports car brand has a truly inspiring lineup of track weapons catered to amateur drivers. But if you want to check out some of the competition to this brand, you can do so by clicking on one of the videos over there to check out Ultima and Superlite, the brands I mentioned in the beginning of this video. I'd also like to thank you all for watching until the very end. I really appreciate all the support the channel has been getting lately. Remember, of course, to leave a thumbs up on the video and to subscribe if you haven't already. Again, thank you so much for being here. Peace.